Sorry I'm late. Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericashow.com. I finally made it. Hey, listen, I'm allowed to be a little bit late. I had to prepare the bear. It's the bear? Oh, it's over there. I'll explain it to you here in just a moment. But first, let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot to talk about today. A MAGA holy war to be declared against Taylor Swift? What? Yeah, apparently Donald Trump MAGA people are claiming Taylor Swift is the devil. Yes, she's the devil. The devil! Could it be Satan? We're going to talk about that a little bit today. The MAGA holy war against Taylor Swift if she endorses Joe Biden. Joe Biden he's in hot water with progressives. He's not just underwater in the polls, especially in key battleground states that he won in the last election that are now heading to the border. They're heading south of the border, flopped over the years on the immigration issue. I've got a nice little supercut mashup of him and Barack Obama and others who are, a little wishy-washy when it comes to the issue of immigration. It's going to be a good show today. You know you're going to like it. Mommy, thank you for the donation today. We've already begun the process to release the bear. Oh, yes. The bear, the bear, the bear is prepared. Yes. What is the bear? Okay, well, if you missed the show yesterday, we started a new segment where I have created additional bonus content for you all. Yesterday was to release the eagle, and as you all saw, it was a really awesome little educational history video about how the American bald eagle became our national symbol. Today is the bear. So in order to play the game and unlock the new bonus content, we have to raise at least $50 in Rumble Rants by the end of the show. And if we do, then you will release the bear. And every single day will be a fresh piece of content. And if we do not unlock that content during that day's show, it goes away forever. We never get to see it. And you will miss the bear. Yes, so don't miss the bear. Make sure you drop some Rumble Rants today. We're going to have John Miltimore on the show today because we missed him on Monday. I was out of the office, out of the studio. And let me tell you, I am still buried in work trying to catch up. But John Miltimore is going to catch us up at 7:30 a.m. today to talk about a new plagiarism scandal that's rocking Harvard University. Yes, not content with taking down the president, Claudine Gay, another top administrator over at Harvard is in trouble for plagiarism. I see it as the ultimate white pill. Why? Well, you'll have to wait. I'll explain a little bit later when I talk to John Miltimore, the editor-at-large of the Foundation for Economic Education. Aren't you excited? Kim McCurry says, no, please do not mention her name. She's everywhere. Don't let her be here, too. She must be here, too. Don't cry like a little baby. With little Taylor Swift talk ain't gonna hurt anybody today. And if there's a holy war by MAGA and Taylor Swift, I'm sorry, but that's news. That's right. We appreciate all of our listeners tuning in today. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the channel if it's your first time joining the Wake Up America show. Do you know what the show schedule is? I know many of you do, but for those who are new, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time is the way to play. Just join us here every morning, Monday through Friday, for 2 hours to get educated on what's going on. You know you want to hear about the MAGA holy war between Taylor Swift and you know it's going to be big brain time with Judge Napolitano. Big brain, yes. You know the one that was Missouri versus Biden? It's morphed into a new one. It's the one where the conservatives and libertarians were all being suppressed and spied on by our government using social media to bullying them to force us into oblivion so that people like me weren't able to get my message broadcast to people like you. Yeah, well, that's headed to the Supreme Court. We're going to hear from Judge Napolitano on that. He's going to give us his take, and maybe we'll ask him a little question or two from you. You can send us a text at 573-319-1586. The text lines are always open at 573-319-1586. Good morning to Melmac 77777. Nice to see you again, brother. It's been a little while. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate you all very much. I see people are asking questions about how to release the beast. Yeah, I hope Stephanie, my lovely wife, is there in the chat, and she will explain to you how you can unlock the bonus content for today. So, let's go on. Okay, so should we start with the Holy War? Do you want to get the Taylor Swift stuff out of the way? You want to just get to it? Okay, we will. We will. I know. Sorry, Kim. Trump believes it won't matter if Taylor Swift endorses Biden because he is more popular than megastar. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's still funny. As MAGA Machine declares a preemptive, quote, holy war on the star in case she backs the Democratic president. Oh, God. I don't know about that. More popular. I mean, here's the thing. When you talk about popularity, you can be famous and you can be infamous. Do more people know Donald Trump's name than Taylor Swift? Probably. Yes. But I see Tim Pool out there this morning on Twitter telling Jack Posobiec that he needs to back off and not start a holy war with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is believed to be being courted by Biden, and to come out and to endorse him as she did in 2020. Hey, stop it. Listen, I'm just giving you the news. Don't shoot the messenger here, right? Donald Trump has told aides, according to Rolling Stone, that her support is irrelevant as he is more popular than she is. Oh my God. So Trump has also reportedly been telling his entourage that it made no sense when she was named Times Person of the Year, as it should have been him.
How dare you?
Good God, I want to laugh so much, but I have to do a show. Donald Trump says that it doesn't matter if Taylor Swift endorses Biden because he is more popular than she is. Swift's political clout is highly sought after. Of her where she's talking to her dad, she's like, Dad, I don't know. I can't remain neutral. I can't stay on the sidelines when things are happening that are bad in the world, and I've got to weigh in. So, of course, then the picture came out of her with the Joe Biden Harris 2020 cookies, and as you all know, we lost that election. Yeah, it was not good. Thus subsequently we received 4 years of
America
this.
is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
We've been as with footer ever since, and yada yada yada. We were all tired the next morning. Another piece in Business Insider, written by Madison Hall, with the headline, "Donald Trump will not win a war against the Swifties," has me nodding my head. Trump's allies have begun attacking pop star Taylor Swift in recent weeks. They say if Trump decides to personally criticize her, he's in a world for trouble. Swift's U.S. adult fan base is larger than the 2020 presidential vote count and is unafraid to go low. Not excited about this. I think this is a very bad idea. I even saw Phil Labonte, the We Remain singer. He is on Timcast all the time. Phil's a good guy. He's even out there saying this is a really dumb idea for Republicans to spark the holy war against Taylor Swift. But you know what? Here they are. The war has begun. As you can see, Patriot for Trump over on Twitter says, "Hey, all you mamas out there that think Taylor Swift is just a sweet role model for your kids, maybe look again."
Oh, God!
She's in her 30s. Oh, God, that's satanic. And luring young kids to her concerts, then performs a satanic concert for them. Taylor Swift, Satan's Pied Piper, beware. As you can see here, I got to turn that off because obviously they're going to get me on a copyright strike here. But look, you can tell right here look at that. See that? Very demonic, right? So she's in the center of all the lights and she's wearing a black and red dress. Okay, there you can know. See the candles that are red that are coming up on the screen? And then she's got this very satanic sort of stance that she takes, right? As the Bible has foretold. Oh, look at that. She touches her hips a little bit in a sort of lusty way that no 30-year-old woman who is of Christ would ever do. She's got the glossy legs there on one side. And I'm pretty sure that this is the official uniform of hell. As you can see, one leg completely uncovered, barely there, but then suddenly she's an angel, right? And then, the greatest trick that the devil ever taught us was that he didn't exist. So then she's like, oh, but then can see. And as Patriot for Trump, Mama for Trump has correctly identified, she is in her 30s and luring young kids, right? So in your 30s, not married, that's satanic, isn't it? Melmac 77777 says they just need to stop that dumb yes. Will Run Riot says the GOP needs to stop picking fights with pop stars. Probably a good idea. Doesn't mean they're going to
There's
listen.
a lot of really weird, lonely, insecure men out there. The fact
That's
that a
true.
pop star, the world's biggest pop star, is dating a star tight end who had one of his greatest games ever, and a network puts them on the air briefly, that it bothers you, what does that say about your life? Judge people sometimes on the silly stuff that bothers them. It'll tell you a lot about them. When I hear this in a 3.5-hour NFL playoff broadcast or regular season broadcast, just 18 minutes are actual football. And we have the data, we have the numbers. You don't turn away.
Another reason I don't watch it, because there's really not a lot going on. You know what I'm saying?
There's coaches cutaways. They show fans in Buffalo on fire, commercials, reviews. 18 minutes of real football.
That's
For the
it.
record, about the length of 5 Taylor Swift songs. Listen to this. The New York Times measured how long she was actually on the broadcast.
Let's hear it.
Do you know how long it is on average?
How long?
25 seconds in 3.5 hours.
Yes.
Against the Ravens, it was up to a whopping 30 against Buffalo, Kansas City. She was on for a minute against the Dolphins, but it was an absolutely awful broadcast. They should have had a concert in the middle of it. That would have been more interesting.
Okay. So why are people so triggered? Well, she did vote for Joe Biden and encourage people to do so in 2020, which is, of course, haram. Call the cops.
FBI, open up!
No, not those cops. But I don't understand. I mean, listen, I'm not a football guy. I don't watch football. I don't watch any of the major sports, unless you consider UFC to be a major sport, which I don't. I prefer to watch the fighting sports, right? The blood sports. To me, football, baseball, all these other games are really just a softened up way of fighting, right? Which is why I just rather just watch fighting. A little bit of boxing, and I'm good. But why are people so triggered by this during the football games? It's, again, 12 to 20 to 25 seconds. This is one of the greatest things to happen to football right now, because you've actually got people who have never watched it before tuning in, getting interested. Is it just you don't like young screaming girls, right? You just don't like the fan base, right? You don't like Taylor Swift? Because I'm not buying the whole Taylor Swift really is Satan thing, right? Like, obviously that's just a bunch of MAGA boomer dumbassery. But I would be curious, why is it that do you think that people are so triggered by this? And I highly advise all my MAGA friends, and I will be voting for Donald Trump this fall, just FYI, not to pick a holy war with Swifties who we could actually use on our side. This is an opportunity to get them on your side, right? They are coming to you, right? MAGA boomers who love football. They want to come and hang out with you. Stop being a crotchety get off of my lawn and start looking at the crotchety get on my lawn. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the Wake Up America show. 586 Horatius 148 says the sports leagues chose the side of BLM, who hates white people, yet whites still watch it. Very true, Horatius. Look at reason not to watch it. Joe Biden facing ire from progressives over his bipartisan border security deal that's emerging in the Senate, and they're starting to rage against it more loudly. It's not the only area where the left is fuming at Biden. Its handling of the Israel-Hamas war has also sparked public protests by progressive activists for months. But once the border deal truly sees the light of day, however, liberal anger is likely to boil over. But Joe Biden hasn't always been a lefty on immigration. And matter of fact, he's been all over every side of that issue in days of yore.
No great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders. It matters how you control your borders, not just for immigration, but it matters for drugs, terror, a whole range of other things.
When I took office, I committed to fixing this broken immigration system. And I began by doing what I could to secure our borders. Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up.
All Americans.
It's interesting because you can kind of see Barack Obama blinking there a little bit at the end of that statement. I'll back it up just for just a moment so you can see what I'm talking about. You can sense the hesitance in what he's at the very end right there that betrays a hint of a different thought.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
Oh, really, Bill?
The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the work.
We've got a lot of great show for you today. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, we're going to hear from John Miltimore, the editor-at-large at the Foundation for Economic Education, about the new cheating or plagiarism scandal that's embroiled at Harvard U. But don't forget, if you want to release the bear, we've got a bonus content piece for you today that you can unlock if we raise $50 in Rumble Rants today. So make a donation before the end of the show if you want to see it, or else the bear will be gone and nary will be seen again. The opportunity to get the bonus content for each episode is one time and one time only. Thank you to Urs Mommy, who already made a $20 donation earlier in the show. If we get at least $30 more raised in Rumble Rants by the end of the show, we will release the bear. Coming up next, John Miltimore to talk to us about another big takedown, plagiarism, and how are they taking these people down? What's happening? Why is this happening? Will it continue to happen? Will we see it happening at more big Ivy League universities? We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
As we continually talk about health and things that can help us out in many different ways, we get many questions about ivermectin, where to get it, and we're constantly sending out links. And we thought, you know what? We just work together with QuickRx Store and see if we can get that link with the discount. So sure enough, they have a huge selection at the description box below. It has quickrxstore.com. That's QuickRxStore.com. Click in the description box below and put SAVE10, SAVE10 in the coupon code, and you get 10% off your order. So they have a huge selection of different things. Quality assurance, you can save really big. You can save a lot of money on them. And fast shipping, they've done a really great work for us. We've been able to send many people there. Again, if you're looking for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, then head that way today.
Snow Goose Lodge in Jamestown, Kansas, your home away from home. Choose the comfort and privacy of our individual rooms, each equipped with its very own locking door and en-suite facilities. Or bring the whole family and make memories in our communal space. Snuggle up on our plush recliners or share a meal around the dining table that comfortably seats 8. Our kitchen is armed with everything you need, from a microwave to a full-size fridge. For a bird's eye view, book the Eagle's Nest. Enjoy the privacy, storage space, and its very own toilet and shower. For just $450 a night, reserve the entire lodge. Perfect for reunions or retreats, accommodating up to 8 guests. And remember, Snow Goose Lodge is a haven for kids and dogs alike. So bring the whole family. Book your stay now and get 20% off your first booking using the code.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericashow.com. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hey, I think Rumble must have given us a nice little feature. Look at those numbers shooting up there. 410, 440. They're just climbing and climbing. Thank you, Rumble.com. We appreciate you. It means we get to make a lot of new friends here. Glad to have you here. I'm Austin Peterson. the host of the Wake Up America show. We stream this show live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. So put us on your calendar. Click like on the show and subscribe to the channel so that you can come back and join us here 5 days a week. We always have a lot of fun, and we'd like to have you come back and join us and be a regular guest. You can send us a text. Let us know what's on your mind at 573-319-1586. Again, that text line you can see down at the bottom of the screen right now. 573-319-1586 is the text line. We always have a lot of fun over here, and if you drop a comment over there, I think you'll make a few friends. And one of my friends is going to be joining us here in just a moment to talk about this next story. Harvard's diversity chief hit with 40 plagiarism accusations in the wake of the Claudine. Diversity and inclusion officer has been hit with plagiarism allegations tied to her academic work, including one claim she failed to properly cite her own husband's study. Why is this happening? How is this happening? What are the implications? Let's hear from an expert on these things. He's the editor-at-large of the Foundation for Economic Education, and John Miltimore usually joins us on Mondays, but I was out and he's joining us now. What's up, John? How you doing, brother?
Hey, doing great. How's it going today, AP?
Pretty good. Numbers are shooting sky high. I think everybody's excited to hear from you, John. Glad to have you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I spent the morning just checking out these accusations. You can drop the word accusations. This is plagiarism. It's academic fraud. I think, one thing Harvard needs to do is start a debate that this is plagiarism. You can, in some instances with Gay, you can say, okay, this might have been accidental plagiarism, but it was plagiarism. This isn't the case in this one with Miss Charleston. Like there were some things done here where she co-wrote something with her husband, which was clearly the intent was just to repackage a work, based on that material that she was authoring with him as a whole new journal article. That is dishonest. And so, the bigger question is, why is this happening? I don't think you did see, plagiarism like this, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. I think there's two problems here. One is academic standards have fallen across the board. Universities have largely become amounts of people, and they're revenue machines. And the academic standards just aren't there. And you talk to people in academia, and they acknowledge this, and they also acknowledge some of the other problems. And I think another unpopular answer to this is DEI itself. When you start to let people in or promote them based on things other than the job they can do, when you start to factor in things like sexuality and race and gender and all these things, you're going to end up with people in those positions that maybe shouldn't be there sometimes. And I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is racist or not, but after seeing all those planes with their doors ripping off and they didn't have the bolts properly installed. When I saw that my pilot was a middle-aged white guy on the plane the other day, I breathed a sigh of relief. And it's because I think that by having these diversity, equity, inclusion standards, you wouldn't think about it. You wouldn't even blink. You wouldn't even look in to see what the race was of the pilot if these standards didn't exist, because you would just assume that they would hire the person based on merit. But when they're hiring people to fly you around in an airplane in the sky, that the doors are getting ripped off and the standards are lowering, and you see it happening in other industries, right? Where it's like, okay, haha, nobody cares. You had to put, a diversity hire in, your television show, right? They replaced the Little Mermaid with the black chick. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to die, right? But when we're talking about things like the airline industry, that's when things get a little dicey. And then when we're talking about the Ivy Leagues, academia, I mean, we're making kids dumber, aren't we, John?
Oh, I think we are. I think the university system is a total sham. Enthusiasm episode where he brings up doctors and he's got I think it might have been Richard Lewis, one of his buddies, and he's like, oh, your doctor's black. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, even with the whole affirmative action thing, and he makes this joke, if I recall the episode right, in front of a black man who did not receive it well. And again, that's not an attack on that particular black man. It's attack on a system where we're going to start saying, well, we're going to shove you through, or we're going to admit you, even if you're not qualified, because of whether it's race or gender or sexuality or any of those things. I think people at their core understand it's madness, but they're afraid to talk about it. They're afraid to speak up about it. They're afraid they're going to be looked at as a racist or a sexist or things like that. But as a society, we are seeing the consequences, and Harvard is reaping the consequences for this right now. And just a quick point, I haven't written about this yet. I have a story, and it's actually from a faculty member at Harvard, very distraught about this. He said, how can I do that when they let Claudine Gay, they give her job back, right? Like, she might not be president, but she got her old job back. She's doing fine. His student was expelled for far less. And he said, how in good faith can I ever again tell a student, report a student for plagiarism? So this person's theory is that like plagiarism is just it's gonna become rampant because even faculty members aren't gonna want to ruin lives by reporting it.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, and many, many hundreds of you are right now, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. Love to see a huge audience joining us here. It's definitely an honor to have you tuning in, and I'm so grateful to rumble.com for featuring us on the front page so that we could be introduced to you. I'm the host of the show, and I'm joined now by my guest, Jon Miltimore. He's the editor-at-large of the Foundation for Economic Education. We're talking about this story, as you can see, that I've pulled up on the screen, about Harvard's diversity chief who's been hit with 40 plagiarism accusations in the wake of this Claudine Gay scandal. Here she is. Now, to my understanding, Jon, what's happening in a lot of these plagiarism cases is that the rise of AI, artificial intelligence, has made it a lot easier for people to be able to unearth plagiarism in many of these academic documents. Because I don't know, do you have a master's degree?
I do.
Okay, so your thesis is public, is it not?
It is.
Which means that anybody can go and get a copy of your thesis, download it, and then compare it to other publications that have existed online. I don't know if you're sweating yet right now with me bringing this up, Jon, but the fact is that the technology that exists now, that a lot of people are bemoaning, and them, they're terrified about Elon Musk putting a chip in our brain, which maybe is another subject we should get to in a moment. But people are terrified because it's now easier than ever for us in our lifetime. Could it not?
Yeah, I mean, it has that potential. I think there's, academia is already being shaken up for so many reasons, and people really have lost faith in the university system, and for good reason. People are paying, $50,000 a year to get really subpar educations, and that is the bigger crime here than plagiarism. I do think, AI could really do damage to a lot of individuals in academia, right? Like we've already seen this with other high-profile academics, even before Claudine Gay. And guess what happened? This is the terrifying part of this. Like certain faculty at Princeton, they got a pass, and I think a lot of people believe they got a pass because nothing to do with DEI, but they got a pass because of their politics, right? And the fact of the matter is, we treat plagiarism harshly with students. Once you have built up power and credibility, you seem to be able to get away with it. But yeah, I think the university system is in shambles. I think people are waking up to the degrees they have, they don't use very often. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing education. I think education's good. I think everybody listening should be educated. You should read. You should want to know. But the university system is corrupt to its core.
No, I think the university system is corrupt to its core. I do think that education can be a good thing, but we have, at least you could admit, have oversold the benefits of higher education to a certain extent. Wouldn't you agree?
Oversold the benefits, right? For
Yes.
generations, we've told kids the only thing you can do, you have to have a degree to be successful. And it really is a lie. You can look at the people that are trade schools right now. You can come out making 50, 60 bucks an hour in some of these jobs. You don't need a four-year degree. What you do need, and what individuals need in this country needs are people with skills, right? We need people that can actually do jobs, pumping, demanding their money back because they realize the education they received really sucks, and they don't have a job, they're unhappy, and they're using that grievance as a political tool. Like we have Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden dangling student forgiveness out there because who wouldn't want 40 grand struck from their their finances, who wouldn't want 80 grand, just abolished and shifted over to taxpayers.
Joni Rankin says, thank you for having great guests like Mr. Miltimore, and she dropped $10 in the tip jar. Thank you. Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend gives me the cute little bear, and she looks like she wants us to unleash the bear. Just so you know, John, you know what we're talking about here. I've got a new little bonus content that I create for every show, and they can unlock the bonus content by making the "You Will See the Bear. We will unleash him." And we're speaking to John Miltimore, who is the editor at large at the Foundation for Economic Education. A little bit about diversity, equity, inclusion standards, and the Harvard plagiarism scandal, which is spreading out amongst institutions. When a butterfly flaps its wings in Peking, we get snow instead of rain here in Missouri, right? Things ripple out, the chaos effect, if you will, John. And when October 7th, the terrorist attack happened in Israel, that has rippled out into the United States' politics and is impacting things like this plagiarism scandal. Do you think that if there weren't this renewed scrutiny caused by that terror attack on October 7th, that this would be happening right now, that there would be this increased interest in the what's happening in places like Harvard with this scandal? Or do you think that it's intimately tied to that? Because I see so many Ivy League alumni who are out there pulling their money from these major institutions and saying, we're not going to pay for this anymore. We've been, even though they've been paying for it for decades, now it's being aimed at them. Do you see these things as being intimately connected or tied, or at least loosely?
Yeah, I think they are connected, maybe not intimately. But you're right about the timing of this. And we shouldn't forget that, Claudine Gay and other faculty at, what was it, Cornell, Yale, I think, a couple other Ivy League universities were all, this began with their comments regarding, protests on campus and things they said about, whether or not, Jewish people should feel safe. And it was really a free speech issue, right? And the big problem, I'm a little torn on that as an issue, because some of the things being done on campuses, I can understand if you're a Jewish person why you feel threatened. But there are, like if you're opposed to the war in Palestine, you do have a right to protest and do these things on campuses. Free speech, even when it was really, like, some of the examples were really extreme. It was a very clumsy effort to defend free speech. And the problem is these universities didn't have any ground to stand on with free speech. They've been doing nothing but attacking student free speech for a decade, 2 decades. And it looked foolish. It looked self-serving, it looked cowardly. And I think that is what caused this ripple effect. Like, people didn't believe their defense of free speech. They look stupid. They've been attacking microaggressions for God's sakes for all these years. And now we're going to say, we're going to defend, somebody's asserting that a Jewish person, Israel shouldn't exist and the Israeli people shouldn't exist. It looked really stupid. And this did have that ripple effect. You have Bill Ackman leading the charge on this, right? And now his own wife is getting, there is a politics in plagiarism aren't exactly wrong when they're saying this is a political attack. It is. They're using,
so what?
So what? I'm just saying they have a point. And I'm not saying that the attacks are out of bounds. I'm just saying there is something politically motivated about this. And I guess my point in that is that's not healthy for society. When we start digging up old documents and old thesis papers and doing it to attack one another, I'm not saying it's not fair game. It's not good. It is the mark of a fascist society. With everything we do is political. Our football games, our dissertations, everything is political, that's not healthy for us. And I think we need to realize that.
No, yes, but here's the thing. I'm not laying down my arms until they lay down their arms. The problem with this is that we as libertarians and conservatives, MAGA people, right-wing people, populists, what have you, we've been on the defensive for far too long, John. We have been playing nice. We have allowed our kinder nature to rule the day, and
right? And that the